After hearing about all the news of a real estate crash, are you curious about what's really happening with the real estate market in Temecula? If you are, I'm going to explain the facts about what's really happening with the real estate market in Temecula. Stick around to the end of the video where we explain how this market is impacting both buyers and sellers. Hi, I'm Shane Bernal, your Southern California real estate agent. I've been living and working in the Murrieta, Temecula area since 2005. So if you have any questions at all about this video or anything else, if you're trying to decide if now is the right time for you to buy or sell out in this area, give me a call. I'd love to help you. I've been getting a lot of phone calls lately from people that are trying to make that very decision. And it really just depends. Everyone's situation is unique. I'm happy to talk with you and give you my professional advice and help you out with that decision any way I possibly can. All right, let's get to it. All right, guys, I have a lot of really good data to share with you about the Temecula market specifically, and even more specifically, this data is for single-family houses only. This does not include data for condos, townhomes, or mobile homes, and that is because at this particular moment in time, single-family houses make up for about 90% of the market in Temecula. So in my opinion, that paints the most accurate picture of the state of the housing market in Temecula at this time. All right, here we go. Let's jump right into it with number of homes sold. And we're going to go back in time a little bit. We're going to look at year over year and month over month. So back in August of 2021, 191 homes sold. In August of this year, 135 homes sold. So that's a 29% drop year over year. And now let's look at month over month from July to August. And this is month ending data. So latest and greatest info for you here. So in July, there were only 110 houses sold. And then in August, of course, again, 135. That is a 23% month over month increase. Let's look a little bit further into that because I mean, it's good to know, okay, you know, we're down year over year, we're up month over month, but in the grand scheme of things, what do these numbers really mean? Let's see. So I think we'll all agree that the last couple of years, as far as the real estate market and just about any other thing you could think of, have not been very normal. So to give you a little bit clearer picture of what a more normal number looks like, I went back, and so between 2015 and 2019, this is the average number of homes that sold per month in what I would call a more normal real estate market. So we can go back and take a quick look at the numbers that we've been posting, keeping in mind that the average number of homes sold per month in a normal market is about 168. So if we, but it fluctuates. I mean, some months you might have 125, other months you might have 225. So we're in the range here. This a little bit low, this definitely a little bit low, but we can even take it one step further, and I want to show you a chart that will really bring it home here for you. Okay, here's where we ended the month in August with 135 home sales, which was up from the month before at 110. You can kind of see here 110, like I said, that was definitely a little bit low. The last time we were that low was back in January of 2019. So it's been a little while since we've been that low. That doesn't happen very often. Getting down into the low hundreds is not like a super common occurrence, certainly not under 110 and certainly not under 100. As you can see here, that happened in January 2019. Prior to that, January 2013, so 6 years. And then prior to that, we're going all the way back to 2008, where we had arguably one of the most devastating real estate market crashes in the history of the country. But just to give you a little bit of perspective on that. And then you look at the other end of the spectrum when we had these huge numbers that we posted here. So like I said, the average number of homes between 2015 here and the end of 2019, average number of homes sold during that time was 168, but it's kind of all over the place. So as long as you're in that range, that's okay. Like I said, you might see 125 one month and you might see 225 the next month, but it all kind of evens out in the end. Obviously, over here, even here, it's going up a little bit, but we're seeing a little bit more lower numbers here than we typically do. Okay, percent of homes sold versus percent of homes listed. This is something that I like to keep an eye on. Here's what I like to do. I like to look at the number of homes sold in a given month compared to the number of homes listed in a given month, and then see what percentage of those homes sold. Not necessarily those homes specifically, but just to kind of keep track of the ratio of homes being sold to the number of homes being listed. So if we go back to August 2021, you can see that that was 82%. So roughly the number of homes that were listed versus the number of homes that were sold was 82%. That's a pretty normal number. If we go to July of this year, 110 sold versus 187 listed, 59% there, which is a little bit low. And then in month ending August, 135 homes sold versus 156 listed, 87%. So like I mentioned, this, 82 is pretty normal. 60%, a little low, 87%, actually a little bit high. And we're still not in a normal housing market by any means, in my opinion. It's slowly moving back in that direction, which I think is wonderful. But just to give you a little bit of perspective on these numbers, I went back again between 2015 and 2019, and I think most people will agree that that was a much more normal housing market than we've had over the last couple of years. I mean, you could go back even further if you want. I probably wouldn't go back much further than that, because prior to that, 2009, 10, 11, 12, we're kind of coming out of one of the worst housing markets of all time. So I think these are good numbers here if you're kind of trying to figure out what's normal. Between 2015 and 2019, the average number of homes sold versus the average number of homes listed was about 168 sold and 224 listed, for a ratio of about 75%. So this is a pretty normal number. It's going to go up and down a little bit. If it's 80, it's not bad. If it's 70, it's not bad. If we get down to like 50 or less, then you start seeing a pretty quick accumulation of inventory. If you went back and looked at charts from like 2008, it was just totally insane. I mean, it was like the reverse of what was happening a few months ago. It wasn't abnormal to have like 400 homes listed and less than 100 homes sold. We don't necessarily want to see that, but we do want to start seeing a little bit more inventory to kind of help normalize things. Okay, let's talk about mortgage rates for a couple minutes here. I read a lot of articles about mortgage rates, and they all pretty much say the same thing. I've probably read about 20 articles in the last month or so. This particular one, basically there were 3 financial analysts that weighed in on this article, and they all basically said the same thing. They're expecting the rates to kind of bounce back and forth between 5% and 6%. Out of the 20 or so articles that I read, all of them said they're expecting them to raise the rates. So normally what happens is when the Fed raises their rate, you see mortgage rates go up as well, which I'm kind of expecting, but let's see what happens in a couple weeks. So we do know that rates have definitely gone up pretty significantly over the last year. If we look at year over year, we'll go back to August 2021. The mortgage interest rate at the end of August 2021 was just under 3%, 2.9%. It is currently 6%, so more than doubled in a year. Pretty significant. And then even month over month, back in July, the last recorded rate for the 30-year fixed, that's what we're looking at here, 30-year fixed, was just a little over 5%. So up, almost a full percent month over month. So as far as the last couple months anyway, what those guys were saying in that last article that I mentioned was true, but we'll see what happens going forward. All right, median price, everybody's favorite number to look at here, mine included. Let's look at year over year and month over month for the median price. And again, remember, this is specifically for Temecula. This is the most accurate information that you can possibly get for what's happening in Temecula. August 2021, median price $695,000. August 2022, $718,000. So year over year, we're up just under 3.5% on the median price. But look at what happened here. From July to August of this year. So in July of 2022, we were at $756,000 for a median price, and that went down pretty significantly here month over month. We're down again, we're down to $718,000. That is almost a 5% drop in 1 month. So pretty big drop there month over month, but we're still up for the year. I'm really curious to see what happens next month with that number. So if we drop 3.5% from August to September, we'll have gone back, given up a full year of price gains, which would be interesting. Okay, this is another really good one that I like to keep an eye on. So I think everybody probably remembers over the last couple of years, not so much now, but maybe 6 months ago, going all the way back to probably a year prior to that, people were paying way more than list price for houses, not just in Temecula, but pretty much everywhere in the whole country. So in August of 2021, the average list price to sales price was 103.4%. So that means that whatever you listed your house for, if it was $1 million house, on average, you got 3.4% more than what your list price was, or got more money for your house than what you listed it for, to the tune of about 3.4% on average. Let's move to July now of this year. That's down to a little bit more back into the normal range, 98.2%. So now you're getting a little bit less than what you listed your house for, which is totally normal. Move up to last month. And again, remember, this is month ending data. That number dropped down again to 97.1%, which is still fine. And something to note is that the last time it was this low was December of 2019. Pre-COVID, these numbers kind of drop back into the normal range here. Okay, so here's an example of those percentages that we were just looking at, asking price compared to sales price, or list price compared to sales price. So let's assume that in August 2021, you had a $740,000 house that you listed for sale. On average, you would have got about $765,000 for that house, or about $25,000 more than what you listed it for. That's on average. And then fast forward to July of this year, that same $740,000 house, you got, let's call it $13,000 less than what you listed it for. And for August of this year, you listed a $740,000 house. On average, you got about $20,000 less than what you listed it for. So it's kind of good, in my opinion, to see this not happening anymore, getting, 3.5–4% more than what you list your house for. Things are kind of crazy at that point. So I'm glad to see these numbers normalizing a little bit. All right, how long is it taking to get these things sold? Average days on market. It means from the day that you list your house to the day that you accept an offer and basically take your house off the market and begin the escrow process. Back in August of 2021, 14 days on the market. That is a super low number. Okay, so as you can see, that number is on the move up, which again, I think is a good thing. So July of this year, it went up to 23 average days on market, and then in August, 28. So year over year, we basically doubled our days on market. So when you hear somebody saying that days on market doubled, yeah, that's very accurate. Is that a bad thing or a scary thing? 100% no, that's still low. And I'm going to show you exactly how low that really is. Okay, here's a really cool graph that shows us the days on market. Goes all the way back to 2008, which I guess we really don't need to concern ourselves with now, but if just for fun, if you want to look at that, you can see back then. And remember, we're basically in the thick of one of the worst housing markets ever here. So 94, 54, interesting how this fluctuates here all the way up to 100 in January 2012. Let's fast forward. Let's get back to current day here. So here we are. 28 days, August 2022. So what you can notice here, just look how low this is right here. This is not normal at all. So, and this is all COVID stuff happening here. All the way back to March 11, 2020. And then look what happened after that. This just tanked. Days on market went way down. Good news is, it looks like we're kind of starting to crawl out of this basement here. So I like that. But to give you little bit more info on this, between 2015 right here and 2019, which I think just about everybody in the world would agree that this was a much more normal real estate market than what we've had over the last couple years. Average days on market during that time, 2015 to 2019, was 52, calculated on a monthly average. So 52 days. Again, we are right now at 28. So it's still super low. All right, if you're buying or selling a home, just a couple things to keep in mind. Days on market, which we just talked about. So houses are no longer, well, some of them maybe are selling in a day or two or three or whatever, but on average, 28 days. So if you're selling your house and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to sell this thing in 2 days and I'm going to be out of here, I'm going to have a 30-day escrow, I'm out of here in 32 days, probably not going to happen right now. So just plan accordingly. It's going to take you a little bit longer to move through the process. And sales to list price, we're at 97.1%, which again, we're kind of moving back into a normal market here as far as that goes. So as a seller, don't expect to get, 50, 60, 100 grand more than your list price. And as a buyer, know that you have a little bit more room to possibly negotiate there. Lastly, number of homes for sale, inventory, what's available, that is going up. And we are now back in pre-pandemic range. I like that. So there's a little bit more to choose from as a buyer. As a seller, there's a little bit more competition. So just some things to keep in mind. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, Shane Bernal, your Southern California real estate agent. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to help you. Have a good one.